Welcome to the Groomsmen podcast. It's your boy Kenny, the CEO of the Groomsmen Barbershop. We're going to be talking about barbers, business, and bullshit. Stay tuned with us. We're giving you the keys and the tools you need to succeed in the barber and business industry.
You gotta get it now. You gotta get it out there now.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Groomsmen podcast. I'm Sachi Rory. I'm here with Most Wanted Gene, captain of Most Wanted paintball scene. I'm also here with Kyle Berry, captain of the MLK Kings. I'm here with Jackson Blue, who's also a partner on your team as well. So we're here today to, let everybody know what we're here for. Is business, barbering, and some bullshit. Every day that we do this, we try to excel in any venture that we take. And I think that this podcast right here is going to be hitting on a lot of key points that expand beyond paintball into other careers that hopefully will help you in any endeavor that you got going on. So, Kyle, how did you, this is a free form. So how did you get into the paintball? Just wherever you want to start.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a lifetime now, right? So I've been doing this for 20 years. I started off like I think anybody else finds paintball, which is you hear about it out in the woods, or like you find a paintball field, you do like a birthday party. I actually started out in the woods with a bunch of friends, 8 years old. The first time I got shot, I cried. Like shot from like butt to top of head, ripped up, shooting like 350 feet per second, which is like 250 miles per hour with a paintball. It hurts a little bit, right? So I went from that to finding a paintball field at like 13 years old, and I'm a fat little 240-pound kid with glasses, frosted tips, and was just trying to find a sport where I could play, like, and I can actually compete. And the whole game with a gun, like any guy with a gun versus any guy with a gun, really resonated, right? It was like an even playing field, even though I was like fat, slow, and I couldn't really play. So, and I got rocked. Like these paintballs hurt a little bit when you go out and play like rec ball out with your friends, but when you play on a competitive level, like people are trying to get you off the field, and there's a reason people dunk at basketball, right? They're trying to get you off the court, they're trying to humiliate you, and you can do the same thing in paintball, and it's called bunkering people.
Okay.
So you basically, guys be hiding behind this table, I run up to the table and put my barrel to your back and push you off the field. And that was like the first 6-7 years. I'm in like upstate New York.
Okay.
So I wasn't even from Florida. In upstate New York, and I just like fell in love with the game. I fell in love with the travel, I think. I went to California at like 13 years old.
Okay. So you got into it pretty quickly then. It wasn't something that just happened, over 20 years. I mean, you took it off running with that.
With paintball competitively, like there's only national based events. So like if you ever wanted to really compete, you'd have a little local league always. Like here in Florida, we have the MVPS. It's like a local league you could play, but it only goes up to, if you think about like college, where it's like D3, D2, D1, they have like D6, D5, D4, D3, D2, D1 semi or pro, right?
Okay.
The local league has D6, D5, D4, and D3. So like the lower divisions. Nationals have all of them, all the way up to pro. So like if you want to compete with the big boys, you have to go to nationals. So I wanted to travel right away.
Okay.
Right away. But
and that was right at 13 years old?
13, I started like going to actual events, right? This is 2007, right? I started playing events. I started traveling. I went to Cali for an event with like a bunch of family, like a bunch of friends. Like all these paintball guys looked after me. From like then to, man, today I haven't stopped. Like we've been traveling. I used to do 10 events a year. These kids like, Jackson on the team now, like he's only been playing for, how long have you been playing?
7 years.
7 years. Like in his career, he'd have like 5 or 6 local events and 5 or 6 nationals. When I started, I'd have 5 or 6 local and 10 national events.
Right. Okay.
So it was way more paintball. But like traveled all around. I hit like 40 out of the 50 states by the time I was 18 years old.
Okay. So this is something that, you found at a young age, fell in love with it and pretty much turned it into a business in a way.
It was the passion, right? Like business don't mean shit without passion.
Right.
Right. You can start whatever company you want right now. right? It is 2023. You can go on your computer right now, go on YouTube, watch a video of how to start a Shopify store, and you can have a business set up. You can go to sunbiz.org, register your company for $35, and you have a company within 24 hours, and you got a business.
Right.
Do you have the passion to make it work? You got the passion to do it every single day to make it like
true.
actually valuable in
Right.
this world, right? So paintball was gave me like the passion to do the other things I have to do in my life, right? I run a marketing company now. I wouldn't be able to do that without the grind and the obsession that came with paintball. Like
Right.
you try to find a level of perfection, right? Anything you're really good at.
Yeah, anything that you love,
Yeah.
you try to really achieve that type of perfection. And with anything that you do in your life,
Yeah.
if you're not putting in the passion and the effort, you're not going to get anything out of it.
It's probably the same way with like cutting hair.
Right. It's the same exact way. You have a lot of barbers. I have a saying that I always say that there's people that are born to be barbers and there's people that want to be barbers. And the people that want to be barbers, they just want to make the money quick. And then the people that are born for it, they put that passion that you're talking about into their craft. And no matter what it is that you do in your life, that's I think I agree with you 100%. I think that is the most important ingredient in any type of recipe, the passion for your craft.
Yeah, I think like passion comes into consistency, right? Like consistency is like what is needed to be good at anything, right? So that's why little fat kid at 14 years old made it to professional paintball. Like eventually it came to a place where I was playing semi-pro in upstate New York with a bunch of my buddies that I grew up with. It was getting pretty damn good. And then my family relocated to Florida. 08 crash, stuff goes crazy, right? So they relocate to Florida. I come down here and I start banging heads with the Florida players, and it's no joke down here.
Yeah, okay.
And
It's year round, I would assume.
Yeah.
Like, coming from upstate New York, you got that snow. It's not really nice to play paintball in 5 feet of snow.
yeah, but these boys are doing it.
I see. That's
that's
another
why.
breed of animal.
That's
right
what I'm saying,
That's
right?
why
Like,
when you came down here, you got some resistance, and you was like, oh, hold on.
it's
right.
if
It takes
you wanna-
a certain kind of.
If you want to see an
skin.
area's culture, go to a paintball field.
Yes.
Right? You want to see an area's culture go. It is crazy because paintball's not cheap, man. It's not cheap. So you go out to play a day of paintball, it's going to cost you $80.
Right.
You know what I mean? We shot like 10 cases today, 200,000 paintballs. Right?
Yeah.
20,000.
Today.
20,000 paintballs
Today.
Today. Yeah. We shot 20,000 paintballs today at practice.
And that's
right?
just within 2 people, right?
No, that was
Or
like
the
5
team
of
in
us.
general.
Yeah,
Okay.
5 of us.
Yeah.
We shot 20,000, but it's not cheap, right? It's not cheap in any way, shape, or form. So like the sport itself gets people that are like affluent and like a part of the culture of the area, right? As well as like really a part of I don't know. I don't want to say like affluent society, but like a part of like the area that breeds. So I'm trying to give you an example of you go to New York City, you go to Long Island, and you go to exit 71 off the expressway and go to this paintball field called Long Live, which I used to drive from upstate New York to there all the time. You go there, you will see Long Island.
Right.
Like the people there are gritty and they're loving it. Like they're having the most fun. I'm talking about people that have been playing the sport for 20, 30 years and they're full grown men loving the sport.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about it. Like, the reason I wanted to come on, the reason I wanted to tell the history of paintball is not so much like my history. My history is great. I've documented it out there a few times, and if you want me to dive into any part of it, but it's really about like these two and how the fact that paintball is growing, right?
yeah.
Like there's an evolution to this sport because of, dude, how freaking awesome it is. Like, I'm gonna get you out there. I said this on the podcast. You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
I'm gonna get you out there.
Yeah, I'll be down. I'll go out there and get shot up a little bit. But that's the thing. I'm not trying to come back like him. He comes back like a leopard, spotted all up. He got welts on his back. I saw him come in one day in the barbershop with a well on his forehead. I want to come into the barbershop with a well on my forehead.
Like we call them those back massages, man.
Yeah.
They hurt.
Yeah, just don't get
It's like a
shot.
battle scar, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a way, because I see
Yeah.
it when he explains it and when he tries to, he shows them, as like war wounds, because you out there, bro. Them shit that does not even look like it feels good.
Right.
This is the crazy part. You don't feel when you're playing.
Yeah. Which is
You don't feel it, right? Like you guys, what do you do for excitement? What do you do to get like energy?
The
Like,
adrenaline.
an emotional excitement that you can't control. It happens to you. What do you do?
It's probably when I'm listening to music the most.
Okay. So music. You ever hit like a song that just fucking bumps and everything, like nerves, back of your hair sticks up.
Oh
when
yeah,
you feel
I think
it,
we all have.
right? That's go.
Yes.
Every paintball point. You go out there and play 20 points, you will feel that every time the sideline goes go. Every time, man. It is
That adrenaline rush.
bro.
Yeah.
Dude, endorphin drop.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you pull off the box 5-on-5. I'm shooting 10.5 balls a second. He's shooting 10.5. He's shooting. Everyone's shooting 10.5. Right? 10
It's
guys.
just constant shooting.
There's 100 paintballs in the air,
Yeah.
and I am pulling off the box, and I'm staring you dead in your eyes as you pull your barrel at me, and I pull my barrel at you, and I am trying to dodge your paintball. Like I was like, we practiced all day today with.
And that's where I would lose.
Yeah. Yeah, we practiced all day today with 4 dudes from Russia that were they're incredible players. Like
From Russia.
from Russian, yeah, they're part of the Russian Legion. It's a national team in paintball, and like I know there's crazy stuff going on there, but these are really good guys.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
train
people are people. At the
Yeah,
end of the
straight up.
day.
True.
Yeah,
People are people.
people are, and these are good people. They're out there training people, they're helping people out. But we're playing during points, and we're like, all high caliber players, and we're out there dancing on a paintball field while shooting at each other. Like if we've already tested it. Like I've worked with military guys, I have worked with airsoft dudes, I have worked with all of them.
Nice.
When it comes to anything outside of a formulated attack with the sniper, right? If we want to go building the building, right? And any group, I've tested it a bunch of it, and I will put money on the table now if anyone wants to call me out. I take 5 of my guys, you take 5 of your best SWAT team, we will fuck you up. Right, just in this close combat barrel to barrel game,
Right.
just because we are living barrel to barrel in this, and I do it for fun.
Right.
I do it for fun. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So like I've trained, and like I was at West Point for 2 or 3 years. Like we'd have an event there, and I'd go into West Point, which is the Army Academy in like the New York, I think it's New York State. But awesome guys, amazing people. But we would go through these close combat, and they're like, "How do you do it?" Well, there's certain trainings that they go through that it's great for survivability, but in close combat, I'm gonna get the jump on you,
Right.
right? So it's like
It's all strategic, I'm assuming. So, and that's a whole
Very.
different strategy when you're talking about this specific game.
Yeah.
This is not the same thing. And I would assume that these guys probably would feel a little, cocky going into the situation, feeling like they
Yeah.
have combat training, feeling like that's gonna. I'm sure it does help them in some type of form or fashion, but when you're on that field and how many you say you spent? How many paintballs
20,000 today.
20,000.
in one day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a different advantage. I
lot
don't
of
think
fun.
anybody. Sometimes you don't understand what you're getting into until you're right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You-
Now, don't get me wrong, I would never like go hand to hand with one of these guys. I
Oh,
think they'd
yeah, no,
destroy me.
no.
But like with the guns, we're pretty good. The nicest thing though, it's not so much that like close quarter combat, man. It's those welts you're talking about. He remembers all those mess up. That's an error,
Mhm.
right? Like in baseball, you watch the baseball game, and errors are super obvious. Dude drops a ball, he
Right.
fumbles it, right? I go home and I look at welts, and welts are errors.
Right.
Right? Welts are errors because at some point I probably could have shot the dude, right? And he got to me first. So it's like errors where you remember them.
Mhm.
And like for him, it'll be pretty good. But dude, that for an 11-year-old is crazy.
Right.
Right.
The level of discipline that you can give to an 11-year-old boy or girl with paintball is how I fell in love with it. I started training these kids. I was like 18, 19 right before I left New York. I'm working the summer camp, or it's like a block system. They got to do high ropes. They got to do airsoft. They got to do archery. They have to do like all these different things in this advanced outdoor camp. And paintball was one of them. So I'd get like 8-year-old little girls, and I'd have to put a paintball gun in their hand. I'd have to make them go play. Excuse me. And they loved it.
Yeah.
When you position it correctly, bro, they had a blast.
Yeah. Kids are gonna love that, bro. That's why I feel like it's something that could be really big in the future. I was watching. I wasn't watching anything. I was actually looking something on my phone, and I saw that you could bet on paintball now on some app where, like where they bet on Call of Duty and all these type of games. I'm like, man, you can bet on a team and paintball. That's only the beginning if I'm thinking about it, from the outside looking in. What do you think about that as far as people being able to bet on the actual game of paintball? Does that mess things up? Does that help out the culture? I mean, how do you think that's going to play out?
Let me preface this answer with like my goal in life is to be the Dana White of paintball.
Okay.
Right. So Dana White, little backstory. I don't know all the details, but he came with a few investors and purchased the entity that was the UFC. at I think a few million,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure it's at a few billion now.
Yeah.
Right. That's the potential I see for paintball. Right. So sports betting's just the start of it. Right. I think paintball is just getting recognized because all these other sports are starting to die out. Right. Even baseball is like changing
Right.
the rules and stuff like that. Like it's boring, bro.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Right. If I could get a camera guy like this dude on the paintball field, the cinematic pieces. Like, dude, I can get more hype videos in a practice weekend than you can get in half a World Series.
Word.
And that's incredible, right? Being able to have the talent to be able to spot that and to move in the direction towards that, I think is going to be key.
They say that our first event, 2024, next year, is in Vegas, and sports betting will be available in Vegas. And that will be huge. That would be huge. So, if anybody's out there and they're betting next year, bet for the Kings. We win it, baby. We win it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me take you back. Like you said, when you first started, and you said that you weighed 240 pounds and stuff like that. A lot of times when I talk about paintball with people, they're always worried about like, oh, am I too big or am I too small and stuff like that. But when I go out there, I see all kinds of people from 50 to 40 to little kids like 12 years old. I see big people, I see skinny people. Like, how would you express that to other people as far as like getting out there to the paintball field? Because a lot of people seem to worry about that.
Yeah, honestly, like, it is such an even game because it doesn't matter about height, right? Basketball is obviously a height advantage, right? Football is an obvious size advantage, and soccer is an obvious speed advantage, right? There's obvious physical attributes in those games that make it so if you're not genetically built that way, you're not going to have that advantage. Paintball, the marker, our paintball guns are the equalizer. No matter what, even if you get like a low cost gun, like the paintball is still flying at my face pretty accurately at about 220 miles per hour.
Yes.
Right. So like it is this ultimate equalizer. And that's why like when I found it as a little kid, it was so incredible because I was able to like actually win at something. You know what I mean? I wasn't winning at anything. It took me years to actually win a tournament, but like I was actually winning points and shooting and like hitting shots. And that, that feeling of like this thing is super difficult. I come out. We used to play at like 15 balls a second. I wish I could grab my gun right now and show you at 15 balls a second, but it's a machine gun, dude. We're at 10 balls a second now. So it's like, it's slow enough.
Why did that change from 15 to 10?
When I started the sport, it was 2 25-minute halves with a 5-minute half in between. No mercy rule. You played a 25-minute half, you take a break for 5 minutes, and then a 25-minute half. And it is a rolling clock. So like you're playing a point and it's 5-on-5. Like this is say this table's a field. 5 people start there. 5 people start there. I got a buzzer. You got a buzzer. I got to come touch your buzzer. I get a point. Back then it was a flag in the middle. I had to grab the flag and hang it on your side. Right. But nonetheless, that's how I got 1 point. And then I'm trying to win as many points as I possibly can. To give you like an understanding of how crazy a match could get, my last match in that league, I was a young buck. I'm like 16, 17 years old. I'm playing a team that is just got into pro, an actual pro. This is a local league, and they're playing pro. They beat us 24-2. So we played 26 points in an hour. We played 26 paintball points. You think he was shut up? Bro, you remember that. I play those guys today.
Right.
I saw them in the league. There was a few of them that I tapped out on the field, well knowing I was coming for him. You know what I mean? Like came as a kid, and I knew who he was. You know what I mean? Like so, it's it's a crazy sport, dude. I absolutely love it. But what your initial question, like, is it good for everybody? Father and son combos. It's the best sport you could play with your son if you're a father, simply because you can play it with him, right? If it's your daughter, right, and she is an outdoors girl and she wants to have fun, but she's a little crazy, like this is the best way to have
Like my daughter.
Good business. They gotta be over 11, right? They gotta be over 11. But a great way to learn discipline. There's a whole women's professional league in paintball just started this year. So this year.
I think it was this year.
No, it was last year.
Last year, yeah, Jackson's right. last year. But yeah, whole women's side. So there's a women's side, but like for a girl, it's great. And then as for size, like the only thing that's crazy is we live in Florida and it's super hot, guys. But it's like it's so much fun to get out there. So much fun. The mask is a little restricted and that like holds back a little bit of oxygen, but it really doesn't affect you much. And if you think it's scary, I can promise you, if you just go out there and you grab a gun and shoot at them before they shoot at you, you will not be scared for a second. You will instantly feel empowered.
Right.
And for someone that needs to feel empowered, like this is the best sport in the world. There's
Right.
a lot of people in the world today that need to feel like a sense of strength. You got a lighter?
Yes, I do. So I was thinking, just speaking on exactly what you're speaking on. I think that kind of relates to a lot of things that people try to do as far as confidence goes. Um, how does somebody in this type of situation where you're, not as confident, how do you feel like that takes you to with paintball as far as trying to get there? Hold on, cut that shit. I'm tripping. I'm trying to like get the question out, and I'm trying to.
Trying to say how.
I'm like smelling the weed. Huh?
Get his beer open.
Yeah,
Dude,
let's get his beer open.
Dello, bro.
That's kind of fucked me up a little bit.
I'm watching.
Bro,
Yo,
this
can I
what
get mine,
Dello-
Kyle?
Yeah, I got you.
So you
bro.
don't have
This
to
thing is
struggle.
super glued
All
on
right, so I'm
here,
just
bro.
gonna go from what the last thing that he said. Confidence. When I see a kid that comes up, you know, young, maybe not in the best shape, and is not as that confident. How do you think that translates how do you think that translates to paintball? Because I look at you right now, right? And if I would have guessed, I would have never said you were a little, short, chubby kid that, didn't have confidence. I see you now as a grown man, confident in the skill that you have and the profession that you're in. So I want to kind of go into that type of story so it can let people know that they can do it as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and I would like to for Jack to hit on this after I'm done too, because I'm curious how he stands on it. But um, there's a lot of ways to find confidence. I truly believe there's a lot of ways to find confidence in this world and find a place, but it starts with a place of comfortability. I think you have to be comfortable first before you can be confident. And that's a big problem is there's a lot of people in the world that are not finding a place of just pure comfortability, right? If you think about it, anywhere where you really strive, you feel comfortable and then you feel like you want to go after for more. But if you never get that comfortable feeling, you never really strive for greatness. A lot of people in their current jobs can see this. I'm not going to strive to do more because I just don't really like where I'm at today. Right. So paintball was that for me because I think it's that for a lot of people that get to actually play it and dive into it because of that, the combination of the emotional and the physical intelligence that you need to put into this game. Like, there's so much going on, dude. When you go out there and play a paintball point, you are like your adrenaline's going through the roof. People are shooting at you. You're running. You're shooting back at people. You're trying to figure out where they are on the field, and your adrenaline is so high that I've seen kids hold their breaths for like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
He's
I
laughing.
did it.
You know what I mean?
That was me.
Holding it. They would walk off the field and be like, "What happened at that point?" They'd be like, "I don't know." And I was like, "Why don't you know?" He's like, "I don't remember any of it." I was like, "Did you breathe?" He's like, "No." We had a yoga instructor.
Yeah.
We had a yoga instructor that used to come to our practices to train us before practice to learn to breathe better. So paintball is like this ultimate trial of your body and mind, right? We need to be pushed as human beings.
Right.
Only way to be better is to go through hard stuff, to go through difficult times in your life is how to excel and become a better human being. And I think like paintball is a great way that's entertaining, that's fun, that you could do on a Saturday and Sunday just to feel better about yourselves. Right?
Yes.
Sometimes it sucks if you go there and get shot to crap, shot up and down all day. But like, take a breath. A lot of the guys that get shot up, they just take a breath, have some fun, relax with it, roll your gun. Right? The marker's very empowering. It's the same reason a lot of people, go out and go just shoot guns in general. Right? But this is a whole different empowering feeling because you have to deal with the adrenaline, the craziness when people start shooting back at you. Right, and it's not lethal.
It sounds like to me you don't have enough time to really have self pity in this sport, right?
Because a lot of the times, man, when I go out there, it's like you're mainly focused on yourself and the team, and you're not worried about like how people look or you
Right,
know what I'm
right,
saying,
right.
or like what they're doing, you stuff like that. Like you're more so worried about helping each other, like grow in the sport. To be honest,
Right,
like,
right. It's a
and I
team
see it
thing.
a
It's
lot
a
in
team
paintball.
thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I like going back to like what I was saying about like what I think is the most valuable thing is like the development of the players. Like I started with him, wait, 14, 15,
15.
15.
2015
No,
Yeah.
or 15 years old.
15 years old.
Oh,
It was 2014.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, it was like
you
this.
plucked, you saw something in them, and you was like, hey,
We actually just had a program where it was just like, "Yo, come out and we'll train you on how to play paintball." This was down in Fort Myers, and like he came into that, and he was like one of the shy, like quiet kids
okay,
when I first met him. And like I'm curious, I mean, what has paintball done for you, Jay? I've been with you, like he
Dude.
to give you a little background.
yeah,
He was like with me. I trained him in the beginning. He got good enough where he split off and played for a top level semi pro team. And then this year we just brought him onto the pro league. Right, he's earning his spot right now. But like I've always seen the potential in him being great from 5, 6 years ago. Like
Yeah, awesome.
but like yeah, yeah. I'm curious how it's changed you.
Dude, from going from like 15 years old, shy, all these grown men playing paintball, and you just started after playing a few weekends, was a little discomfort. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just thrown into it.
right,
So the confidence definitely built when I was able to compete at a level with them. You know what I'm saying? After getting beat up a few times, learning a little bit more, and then just going and growing the confidence to be that knowing I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Having the confidence in yourself so that when it comes down to 5-on-5, you're confident that you can just do what you want.
right.
So that helped me a lot. And
And I feel like that might have translated into, when you get confidence in a sport, it translates to other parts in your life too.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Does that have you um, taken any paintball anywhere? You know, that story going from semi to pro, that's a come up off just from there,
Yeah,
right? Because Gene tells me a lot, about paintball, and from the things that he tells me, I already know that it's not an easy thing to become semi pro, right? You got to
Yeah.
really, really,
yeah.
lick your wounds a lot, and what was that? What's that journey like? As far as Kyle goes, um, I can I can see how where he's going, right?
Mhm.
He wants to be, like he said, he wants to be the Dana White of this sport. In what way do you see yourself going in this direction? Like, what direction you feel like you're gonna go in?
Yeah, luckily I got some would say an easy jump to semi-pro. I went from playing D4, took a season off, drilled every day, 2 times a weekend, every day for a year. Trained with Kyle every weekend. Then we played semi-pro for 3 years. Was it 3 years? Got our ass.
Killers?
We just got no with SRP.
Oh,
Got
weird.
smoked, right? But
Hold on.
we did good. We did all right.
Hold on. I took a bunch of kids, bro. So let me preface this story
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit better, right? So like SRP was this like organization we had down in Fort Myers, right? I just came from running that summer camp I talked about. I love the whole concept of the summer camp. This guy, I won't drop his name here, but big money guy, kids play paintball, wants to support building an organization. So I was like, sweet, I will coach free of charge. Just let me build this program to get kids into paintball.
Okay.
We called it the DPL, right? We built this program. Did you come from the DPL?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he came from that program, and we were just doing Facebook ads and street signs, baby. And these random people would show up, and I would train them for 6 days, like every other Thursday, and I would show them how to hold the marker, how to shoot the gun, do all that stuff, right? Once they had beginners where like anybody showed up, you had no equipment, we gave you equipment, you shot 50 cal, which is, if nobody knows, these are like 68 caliber bullets. They leave a hefty mark. There's 50 caliber, which are like little tiny paintballs where I could like pop myself in the arm from this far away, not a big deal,
Okay.
right? Like
For you, for me, it's another situation.
you might be like, it stings a little bit. But he comes through that program. Out of that program, I probably have 5 kids that are like playing pro now. 5. It's Chris Horn and Ricky.
Yeah.
But like the whole thing was like these guys were not qualified whatsoever. We got like ridiculed across the entire paintball, like all Florida paintball.
Oh,
We weren't
yeah.
even around for this yet,
Right.
right? So like we make this team called SRP, and like I'm a nerd, dude. I love this stuff. I love paintball. So like I have these kids running. I'm running them. We're doing drills. These kids are going crazy, and the rest of the paintball world is like, this isn't normal paintball.
Right.
Normal paintballs. We show up on Sunday, we play paintball points, and I was like, no, we show up on Sunday and we run and we do drills and we get better. You know what I mean? And we actually get better. And they got good. He was nasty. I mean, the organization itself was good. But when we played semi-pro, was that for those 2 years?
2.5 years.
Yeah, it was like he was ranked. We talked about the divisions. He was ranked D4, and everyone else was ranked D4. And it was me and those kids, and there's kids, bro. Like,
Oh, dude, I was like 16, 17.
yeah, like a bunch of kids. And when we play, say, semi-pro paintball, this is like there's like 35-year-old grown men smoking cigarettes out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like, they're either going to therapy or they going to paintball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And they go.
Yeah,
This
there's
little 15-year-old in his way of like 15 grand, 20 grand. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
So, so it's big money like that then.
Each event, yeah, I mean, we wouldn't call it big money, but like,
I mean, 15 grand for a lot of people, that's a lot of money. If you're talking about
buddy,
playing a sport,
let's talk about the cost.
right? Right.
Let's talk about the
That's
cost.
a big
So
one.
we got a $3,000 entry,
Mm.
right, to the event,
Mhm.
and then we talk about those paintballs, right? We shot 20,000 today, right? 10 cases. At an event, we usually shoot like 60 to 70 cases. So 60 cases, 2,000 paintballs in a case. We're talking about 120,000. I do my math right, right?
think so.
Spraying them,
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So
letting them go.
it's costly.
So when you're, I just got a quick question. When you said something about being ranked, are you an individual in the sport but also play on a team? So like you would be Cal Berry and you have a certain amount of points on the people that that maybe you took out in the match, vice versa. Like how many times you got taken out? How does that ranking system kind of work?
There's
for
an
people that don't
online
know?
ranking system called the APPA, where every paintball player in the world is registered on it. And every event you play, dependent on the division and the place that you get a certain amount of points. You build those points up over your years.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, so and depending on if you win, you get more points and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, Gene, how many points you got?
I think I'm almost at 100.
Yeah, I got 6,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big difference.
But Gene just and Gene just started,
Yeah.
and
Last November, yes.
I can see the passion in him and the same passion as you. When Gene gets to 6,000 points, I know he's gonna have the same passion as you, right?
Definitely.
You got to have that passion to get to the 6,000.
Right.
That's the big deal, right?
Right.
And that's where like Gene, Jackson, a lot of young dude. Let me tell you a little story. Okay, so I did this with him and the SRP guys. My whole point was trying to get them pro. I was confident I could get these young kids pro. Right? We had some mix-ups. They brought in some coaches that didn't resonate with me. Things didn't work out. Fell apart. I go back and I go play pro. I get him now on the team, right? I've pulled in him. We got Ricky, who's another SRP player on my pro line, and then I have Carter Donaldson, another SRP player on my pro line. So I got the three of us. But my goal for Carter, little kid on my team, and the goal for this kid Connor, who played with me last year, was always to get these kids $1 million contract. That is my goal. I got one step last year, so he was supposed to be on my team. He was messing around. Ends up staying on a semi-pro team for another year. So I pick up this young kid named Connor Kelly. In a matter of 2 years, I got the kid a $50,000 contract in paintball. Roughly.
Big money.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You got house paid for, car paid for, plus a little extra, and you're traveling around the world playing paintball, having a great time.
Yeah, playing paintball is none. I mean,
You're making money playing paintball. Now, there's probably about 50 players in the world that get that.
right. Yeah, you
Right.
got to be you got to be the cream of the crop for
Yeah.
that. And I feel like everybody strives for that. Why would you do it if you didn't?
Exactly.
That's where I'm weird. Like I do it because I think that I'm not here for my $1 million contract. I'm here to help write that $1 million
Right.
contract.
And that's what probably separates you from most people, which is what I wanted to touch on with Jackson. The way that I'm hearing these events go and the things that you're saying, I know because I've already talked to you before. I saw you the other day at the shop when my man Gene laced you up. You're even keel, right? You seem very willing to give the information. Are most people like that? In paintball, Jackson,
Ooh.
because I'm not sure. I don't know.
Oh, honestly, it's very hard to find someone that's like that'll mentor you or show you the way to actually play paintball. most teams are just playing Sundays and just that's it.
Right.
Literally.
They're just
Just
coming out,
points.
you know? They're homies. All the homies just come out. So it's kind of hard to get better in a sense. So going to playing semi-pro, chilling with a bunch of homies, we were getting better. We were
Right.
playing a top level pro team every weekend, so we had a good competition. But then taking a step further and now playing pro, the grind's a little different. You know what
Right,
I'm
right.
saying?
Right. So I'm assuming there's not too many Kyle Berries walking around in the paintball world.
There should
Very
be
few.
more, bro. There should. I don't think I'm shit. There is people in this state that are incredible paintball players. Bro.
Right. Right. But I feel like
Like-
you're trying to take it a little bit beyond the field.
True.
And I think that's what people need to understand, that sometimes it's not about the actual playing, right? Sometimes someone needs to take a step away and do the sacrifices. I'm sure that there's sacrifices in this that no one in this paintball world knows, right? And those are the things that you don't talk about, right? You keep a smile because there's a lot of hard things that go on behind the scenes, and someone's got to do it. Unfortunately, to get it to where it needs to get to, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, and a lot of the hard thing is time, dude. Like give up on a dream.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, not happening
You say that.
until you get old. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like,
but that's the thing
How
that
many
goes.
people in this world you hear us say this, and then they're just like, ugh.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
You know
That's
what
true.
I mean? Like, you know what the crazy thing about this world is, in my personal opinion, right?
Just need a lighter.
Yep.
Go and slack this thing up.
It does not matter where you come from or what you do, but there's this insane thing where, like, if you imagine something hard enough and you don't give up on it, you'll get it. Like whatever
agree.
whatever it is, man, whatever it is, it just your degree of obsession is the degree of obsession needed is determined on how big the goal is. You want to be the president, you got to be obsessed.
Right. Right. So
Right.
let's take it beyond that then. Let's take it off the field. Is there any things that you're doing off the field that, maybe paintball has helped propelled you into directions that, maybe don't have necessarily to do with paintball, but paintball propelled you in those directions?
It actually has. And this is where I'm crazy. It all has to do with paintball, right? So I said this a little bit to you before the show, but I got pro in 2015 with Tampa Bay Damage, the local team here out of Florida. And I get there. I think it's the biggest deal in the world. I've been telling my father I'm gonna be a professional paintball player for like the last 5 years, getting laughed at. And not, he didn't really laugh at me, but most people did, bro.
Right.
Most people don't even know what it is.
Yeah, right.
Most people just laugh in your face, right? You finally get there, you strive, you fight, you finally work to finally get it. You get there, and it's like, dude, I'm supposed to be inside of a coliseum, like as the gladiator fighting a lion, and I'm in a mud pit up to my shins. It's raining, and like nobody's happy because it's just like the event just kind of destroyed, right? And every team still showed up. This is Texas. This is the last PSP event. If everyone looks this up, it's the last PSP event in existence because it went from PSP to NXL that year. It's 2015. It's a mud fest. It was horrible. I loved every second of it, right? But I noticed right there and then that like, bro, the marketing and representation of this business is horrible. I then got a job selling for like a marketing company. Did that for 2 years, learned how to sell, which anybody listening to this, if you don't know how to sell, it is the number one, I don't want to call it trick, but let's call it a trait. Number one trait you can learn as a human being to excel yourself in life. You sell yourself every day to your girl. You sell yourself every day to the person at the cash register. You sell yourself every day, all the time. And if you ignore the fact that you're selling yourself, you don't get better at selling yourself. Selling is a necessity in getting to where you want to be in life, right? You have to know how to talk to people. Learn sales, decided to go after and do real marketing. The company I was selling for wasn't doing, it was like door to door battle pack. Wasn't real numbers, wasn't like true. So I was like, I'm going to find something that actually grows companies. And my goal, again, be the Dana White of paintball, right? I was like, I got to do it outside of paintball. So I actually become recognized in the real world for marketing. And then I'm going to come back and take it over and know what the hell I'm doing, right? Because the guys that started paintball still run it today. Like, so these guys were like farmers and like mechanics and like, normal dudes. And paintball just totally changed the directory of their life. But they're not event promoters. And sports analysts, and they're just not these people, dude. They don't know. They don't see this as like as at least as big as I see it. You know what I mean? Multi-billion-dollar professional, top grade sport. So I started a marketing agency, right? Doing Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Google ads, TikTok ads. This was a decade ago. I now have like 17 employees. We have 50 clients. I've worked with Coca-Cola, Stella Artois, Budweiser. I've worked with local mom and pop shops. I figured out how to be an advertiser for all these different types of businesses. And like in my business, if anybody's listening to this, you guys know it's easy. You take a niche, you learn a method for success, you copy and paste it, you sell it to like barbershops. Find out what works for barbershops, become the #1 barbershop marketer and advertiser. You sell to a bunch of barbershops. It's copy and paste. It works for about 60% of them. The other 40% just drop off. You scale the agency, you sell it off. I did not take a vertical. I took every client with a problem. I took all these issues. I took clients that didn't know Facebook had value. Bro, I've sold like I can look at my phone right now. I've probably sold $100,000 worth of stuff today on Facebook. Different clients, different stuff from event tickets to steaks to Loomy Gummy. Like, dude, just selling all this different stuff, right? I decided to like really dive into it. And paintball, you don't know what you don't know. Right? You don't know how hard you're actually supposed to be. Like how hard you're actually supposed to work to be that good. Right? Like, I work hard. Why am I not better than Jim? How hard is Jim working? Like, do you actually know? Right? Listen to a few Kobe interviews. Go watch what Kobe did. Right? Kobe's very vocal about it, and he was in the limelight, so you get to see him on TV. You couldn't compete. 99% of the world couldn't compete. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find a way to compete with Kobe. It sucks. I hurt my body. My body hurts. It's real hard to balance work and that. Like, that man was an animal. If you try to do this stuff, wake up, ice bath, run, go work, then go work out, make your girl happy, still have fun, have a social life.
But it takes that sacrifice. Is that that a lot of people aren't willing to make the sacrifices that it takes for you to get to the position that you're in, right? In any business, it doesn't matter what business it is. It could be barbering, it could be paintballing. You got to sacrifice certain things to get into a position to where you can succeed.
The power of no is incredible. Bro,
that's very true.
Saying no.
I'm interested in that though. That's intriguing because I like that you said you learned the market first, how to sell yourself, and then you equated that into paintball, and you wanted to take over paintball, and now you're not just going in there willy-nilly and kind of learning the things, as you go. You already have the knowledge, and then you go forward.
Almost there, right? There's certain things I need to figure out, and if anybody can help me with these things, I'd highly appreciate it. How do I videotape paintball? How do I capture what I know to be the feeling of this story of every game to sell these superstars and do it correctly so that any common person in the world could watch it and they know it's freaking amazing. Right?
These are gems right here. If you can accomplish that, because I know exactly what you mean when you're watching, NFL football and they have the over the head, where you can almost see inside the huddle. It makes you feel like you're a part of the game. And finding those keys in paintball is going to be very crucial and could probably propel it into a direction.
When's the last time you went to like a professional sports game?
Never.
Really? I'll take you to a Lightning game. Next Lightning game, I'll take you to a
Lightning game. I've been to like a preseason football game, but to your point, because I know where you're going with it, I like to watch it on TV.
It's so much better on TV. What I really need, right? So the #1 was like get video, right? I need to get the video correct on paintball. I need to be able to broadcast it to general public, as we'd call top of funnel new customer audience in marketing. I need to get it out to them, and they need to understand it. They need to be excited by it, and they need to grab a hold of the story. So I need to find someone that can capture that light on a continuous motion live. And don't get me twisted. Like, all these cameras are beautiful, and I'm like, yo, you should come out to paintball. But when I say that, I'm like, oof.
This thing's going to get smoked.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah.
So you got to have, expensive cameras that also have some type of cover. And I'm sure a paintball firing 220 miles an hour.
This can
am I right?
definitely damage something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Definitely.
Yeah, you get shot. A lot
Yeah.
of filmers get shot.
I'm sure they could figure something out though. Put some type of
These
film
guys are
over it.
pretty smart, bro. They're like wrapped up in boxes, but the screen's still out, bro. And the best shot, is over our shoulders.
Yeah,
Like-
seeing the paint fly.
Like it's a little matrixy, dude. Paintball is not going that fast. Like it sounds super fast, but like when the paintball is bright yellow and it's flying through the air, you see that thing coming right at you, clear as day, and it's flying and slowing right down. So you're playing little Matrix. You're sitting there shooting at them, they're shooting at you, and you're dodging paintballs. It's totally possible. That's the part that's
I
like
believe it.
it baffles people. And the funniest part is like when I got to Florida, I don't know what it was about Florida players, but like everyone would run head down. Probably because they're like looking at the sand that they're about to dive in and trying not to hurt themselves, right? Like, but they'd run head down, and if you run head down, you can't matrix people, bro. But like, I had this mentor of mine when I was younger, Aaron Tress. This kid, 10 out of 10 times, I would have a perfect shot. I'd pull up, I'd know where he's going, put the paint right in front of him, and he would be able to go underneath it or over it and dodge the paintball. Like right now, if you go and watch top level competitive paintball, it's very intelligent. We are very smart players. In a field full of 56 bunkers, it's going to be 5-on-5. We're going to break out, and within a good team, 15 seconds, a bad team, like a minute, you'll find the other 5 bodies where they're shooting, what they're doing, and how we can exploit the openings to win the game. While shooting our guns, while having control, while taking moves while we can. Right? The next level of this, which was like shortly saw in 09 to 2011 paintball, is this athletic beast of a style. Like I truly believe when money walks into paintball, and this is like what I've told him, what I've told a lot of people from the beginning, like you're gonna have kids that are gonna be able to dive over this table to make it into the snake if he's getting paid $1 million.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen people dive this high.
Yeah. Over a beam
Definitely.
of paint.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like it's going to be a next level of excitement. So I need someone that can video it correctly. We really need a stadium. Not so much the stadium's irrelevant. I really need the TV time. Right? The TV time seems to be more and more valuable. Like no offense to anybody out there, but cornhole is not the most exciting thing to put on TV. I love the guys. Anybody that wants to compete, more respect to you. But like mine's gonna give you this sport is gonna give you a
I've
little more
seen
emotion.
Dumb stuff on ESPN.
Ghost Sports is doing
True.
Like
pretty
stupid
decent with
stuff.
it.
I'm like,
Like,
there's
pretty
no
decent.
way this could be a sport.
For real.
It's unbelievable. So I can definitely see, something as exciting as paintball being put on ESPN. That's something rapid fire, slow for you, but quicker probably for the viewer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's entertaining for the viewer to a point, right? You got to make sure that you get the right angles, and that's where the video guy comes in.
So,
So it's
kind of like, sorry to interrupt you, but kind of like, when we did play paintball the other day at the barbershop, people were like very interested in it and stuff like that. A big thing that I seen too, I don't know if Ghost Sports is the one doing this, but as far as like the history of certain teams and stuff like that, when they explain things, you know what I'm saying, about these certain teams, it kind of seemed like a documentary.
Yeah.
And so, one of the barbers, like he said, dang, I thought Animal Planet was playing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Because like just the way they were talking about the paintball industry and the way they were talking about every individual team, their history and stuff like that, like it just caught the
It was
attention.
definitely well done.
a lot of people
I
there.
will say because I was watching it. It was definitely well done.
Dude,
And it stayed on. The
Let me-
paintball stayed on, and people were just watching it. Like,
yeah.
wow.
you have kids?
Yes.
Okay. So the kid falls down and gets hurt, and you don't freak out.
Right.
The kid's kind of chill, right?
Yes,
Kid
definitely.
falls down, bleeding out of his head a little bit. You freak out. Kid's freaking out, right?
Yeah.
The world is only as big as what we make it. People in paintball don't make paintball that big of a deal.
Right.
That's the biggest problem. Like I see it as like something that could be that legitimate and huge. But like at the current moment, Go Sports, yes. Dude, the production's beautiful. But have you seen that? right? Has anybody seen that outside of like
Right.
we saw it here, but like outside of like us playing it at the barbershop, you guys would have never saw that,
Right.
Yep.
right? It's on YouTube. They just don't promote it, right? You got to make something a big deal, right? That's like the where the passion comes from, and that's another aspect of just like general life, man. Like it's it's only as big as you make it.
Not giving up on it.
Not giving up on it, trying extra hard, not sleeping. Like you give up sleep for something, you care.
Right.
Yeah.
Give up food for something, you really care, right? You giving up sex and relationship, God, you better be successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's all about how much you're gonna put into it, right? So, the paintball I think is right on that cusp, man. I think it's right on that breaking point.
I think I understand what you're saying too, as far as having the players feel like they are doing more than just playing paintball, right? That goes into marketing the player itself, right? And when you get a charismatic player and you got, storyline built into it, I think that that's what could probably propel the sport a little further. It's tough being, starting out, I'm
Oh, yeah.
assuming,
For
right,
sure.
Gene? And, you know, what was it like for you starting out, you know, paintballing?
Well, I mean, for me starting out, it was pretty hard. Like he says, it's a big expense. You know what I'm saying? You are spending a lot of money out there to dedicate yourself to be able to even play this sport. Um, I found myself like spending like $100+ every week just buying paint entry. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to play the sport. You know, playing X ball is expensive as it is too. In tournaments when we went to NXL, $2,300 to sign up a team is
Right.
a lot of money.
Right.
So it was a little bit difficult, but
How many teams can be in one of these tournaments?
Pros got 20 teams, and then
Semi-pros got 20.
semi-pros got 20, but it's like an open division. And then each division below that is kind of open depending on your rankings.
right.
If their points are too high, they can't play. Like, I can't play any of the lower division ones, right? But like, man, MVPS had what 40, 50 teams, and that was the local.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In my division, it was like 27 teams, I think.
World
So
Cup,
hard.
which is like the biggest event of the year. It's held right across the street from Gaylord Palms up in Orlando. They had 550 teams. Like the event's huge, man.
And that's like 3K clip.
Well,
In a cow field.
So that
In a
that
cow field.
that's a lot of money. At the end of the day, that's a lot of money when you're talking about how often are these tournaments?
There's 5 a year in
Yeah.
the U.S., 3 in Europe. I fly out to England on Monday.
Yeah, so you're talking about big money. You're talking about big money. At the end of the day, you're talking about big money.
Let me show you this beauty. Okay, this is just the gun, right? So we got a Bunk Kings hopper. I think it's 220. 220. They usually got a special on them, right? But 220. You got a Project Lux. This one is special. This one is special. This one's expensive. Luxes start at $1,600, but the projects are like 18 to 23, right? What else you got on here?
tank.
This is a high pressure air tank that holds 4,500 psi of air. Right, I can shoot this hopper in 8 to 9 clips off my back with one fill. Yeah, this costs another like $250 on a good day, and then it's a powerhouse reg, best reg in the game. These cost, but they're awesome. It doesn't matter what they cost.
Like
They're-
80 plus,
There you go.
I'm sure around there.
Yeah, so Bunker King, Powerhouse, Lux. But yeah, it is not cheap, man. Like whatsoever. If you're gonna get into the sport, it's a leisure sport. I got into it. What's the best way to say this? Okay. If I didn't find paintball, I didn't have a reason. I started working super, super young. My dad had a store, so I started working at like 11. I had like a good work ethic and stuff, but I was a shithead. Right?
We all are.
I grew up in, yeah, I guess, yeah, definitely, yeah. I grew up in a little like Podunk Town, right? That was could party literally every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Friday nights, I'm in bed at 10 because I have practice in the morning. Right? I go to a party, have like a drink or two, got to be home by 11. You know what I mean? Got to make sure I'm there for practice. It was expensive, but it gave me work ethic. Like I didn't have something cool that I was paying for adrenaline. Like I was paying now at my age of 29, it's like paying for therapy.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can have a horrible day and I'll go out there to a paintball field, even just shooting targets. Like the way we drill, because we drill at a pretty high intensity now. Out there shooting targets, I'm smiling, coming off, dancing, bro. Music playing, I'm having a great time. So like it was always a trade for money for something more than just like a physical value. Like there was an emotional currency that came with it. And I was paying for that every time. I still do it today. Like 20 years later, I'm still feeling it.
That's exactly how I feel. Definitely.
It's a weird feeling, bro.
How about you?
Yeah, it's honestly weird.
I'm sure everybody viewing this, into paintball feels the same way. Right?
It feels good.
You should.
It feels good, definitely. Having to work hard for this, to be honest, this sport and stuff like that, is
Feel
definitely
accomplished.
feel accomplished for sure.
And I think it's like right around like I was saying, right around the corner of blowing up. You know what I mean? Like these guys coming in this era, it lived through the '08 recession, which is like an expensive sport that lives through, which is great. But the only reason it's super costly, at least for like our side, is the way it's set up. There's other structures. There's other ways to do paintball that would make it less costly. I've done like indoor reballs. You have these like little rubber balls, indoor facility. You shoot them, pick them up afterwards, shoot them again. Like you can go and train there for hours. Cost you $10. Right. It's just there's an evolution to this game that if it actually became big time, which I think it has a potential to, simply because of the cinematic factor. You know what I mean? Like you watch this on YouTube instead of listening to the podcast because you want to see how it looks. You want to see the breakdown. You want to see the emotion behind it, right? Paintball's got that emotion. Like every time a dude gets shot on camera, he's squirming. You know what I mean? I think it's a lot of like you watch fighting, and I think a lot of it's for like that reaction. You know what I mean?
Right.
To see that breakthrough. And we have those a lot. We have jabs every point, and then usually got right hook or two of us bunkering people.
It was amazing actually going out there into the NXL. I mean, playing was amazing, but just, when you see the pros and you go to that pro field, even just sitting on the sideline, bro, like everybody just feels it.
Yeah,
the atmosphere, you feel it. Like, you see somebody, like he said, somebody bunkering another person, you know what I'm saying? You see somebody rapping on somebody and just, boom, just shooting them right there 2 feet away from them, 1 feet away from them, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, the crowd's like, no way. Like, dang, that just happened. You know what I'm saying? It's a big excitement in it, definitely. And I see so much potential in it. Potential in it.
Yeah.
Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, going to practices every single day. Not every single day, but every weekend. You know what I'm saying? Dedicating that time to practice and stuff like that. And then when you go out there to actually play the tournaments, the dedication that you see in a lot of these people is just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It takes a lot of dedication to do anything where you're going to get shot like that. And I'm not doing nothing like that because I'm not crazy.
We're getting you out there.
Yeah.
We're going to get you out there.
So, Kyle, I wanted to touch on a couple of business things as far as what you got going on, with paintball. Do you got any sponsorships in paintball that you got? Anything outside of paintball? What are the things that you're doing on a business side that you can, let the people know, tips, tricks, ideas that they can actually, doesn't have to be the most complex thing, but something that they can actually take and cash it in.
You are living in the most fruitful time for anybody to become somebody. It honestly, it's incredible. If you reflect like 20 years ago, you could get in the newspaper, you might be able to get on TV, get on the radio, right? And this is the early 2000s, right? It was very hard to become recognized in the world, right?
Yeah, true.
You guys ever hear of the Mexican ideology of death?
No.
Right.
Not.
There's a kids movie about this now. I figured that like there's a kids movie called Rico. It's a good
Rico,
movie.
yes.
Yeah, but basically they believe there's three stages of death, right? Stage one, the death of your morality, the day that you realize you're gonna die. Stage two, your physical death, the day your body ends in this earth, and then your final death is the last day someone says your name.
Mm.
That hit me, right? So, in a business sense, right, if you are striving to be more, understand you are writing a book. I believe that the day that you were born, they carve out a book, they put your name on the front of it, and every thought, every action, every movement, everything that you do in your life is carved into this book, right? When you die, that book gets put on the shelf. Is it worth reading? Did you write something enjoyable, worth reading, and your name will be recognized throughout time? In today's day and age, it's hard to stay relevant for a long time. It's very easy to become relevant, right? So in a business sense, what I learned on the paintball side was really for striving for greatness, and that pushed me into starting a marketing agency. Now like I said, I got a good team, 17 people. It's called Kaizen Marketing Agency. We help businesses with Facebook ads and growing their company, really customer acquisition through and through. So everything from email marketing to website optimization. And we understand, and I figured out throughout the years how to take someone from unknowledgeable to knowledgeable about a product and wanting to make the purchase. There's a bit of psychology in there, a bit of sales, there's a bit of marketing, but there's a lot of steps that go into the actual practice of business. What people need to decide is, am I here to do a job, or am I here to start a service with people that can create jobs for? Right? There's two types of people in the world. There's managers and there's employee structures, right? There's owners and there's employees. It's just the way it is. Some people are happy and satisfied with the current value of making money. They want to know they're getting paid this. They want to do a simple job. They want to make 9 to 5. They want to go home to their families and care about their families and their stuff outside of work. They just need the cash to survive. Awesome. If you have that, bump up your resume, constantly look for a new job, constantly go out there for new employment, push yourself for better positioning. And if you're in a position where you're just really good at executing your job, make sure you're documenting everything. Document everything. Like, I can't think of the name right now. Loomly. I think it's that. It's a plugin for your Google Chrome. You can document everything that you do. I've SOP'd my entire business through documentation of like what I do digitally, and literally make money hand over fist by training people through these SOPs. Mm. So if you are like a 9 to 5 and you care about making more money, that's what I recommend. Your image is not so important as your resume. Make sure you execute and you continue to push forward. If you're a contractor, like what you guys do here at the barbershop, the whole point is self-imagery, right? Your development of what you look like in the world and how you push out that in 2023 is content development. So in a business sense, guys, don't be stupid. Use the AI. Technology is growing faster than you can think. It's a part of the world. It is, and the people that hop on it first are going to be awarded for it. Like this whole podcast and everything here can be cut down through AI. If you produce a lot of content and you develop content, leverage AI just to help you out. If you're a solo entrepreneur, like the guys here that rent chairs or like work in this place, like they're solo entrepreneurs because it's on them to get more jobs, right? Make sure you're creating content, before and after pictures. You're publishing on all platforms. Don't be biased. You're not the one buying your shit. Right. There's somebody else paying for this. It's your job just to get it to them. They'll come in, right? I don't care if you don't like TikTok. Your customer will like. So it's our job as people that sell to present the product to the customer in the easiest way possible. So just get to them where they are, bring them in, close them, right? If you want to start a business, stop fucking around. Fail. It's okay. You can lose the money. It's just money, right? You think it's a problem. Make sure you understand when you get an LLC, it's a separate business entity. Take a loan out, structure it correctly. Don't lose your personal finances over a business. If it fails, it fails. You'll learn. The Colonel, like KFC guy, is KFC chicken, everybody knows. 52, he was homeless. 54, he was a millionaire. Right? 57, he was a billionaire. It takes time.
Yeah.
But don't be soft. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no point. Risk it for the biscuit, baby. Have fun with it. Like,
Heck yeah.
Those were some gems right there.
go
Those were some
after it.
gems.
And then if you're currently running business and you want to optimize, understand the difference between a business and being a solo entrepreneur and just running running a service or running a company. There's a reason that some of these companies explode and blow up correctly, and it is not because how smart they are. It's because how many people they have. It is the development of what I call bandwidth, right? It's a term just basically of how much you can actually put out. You have two hands and one mouth. How much can you actually put out in the world? I can only type so fast. I can only talk so fast. And I can only output a certain capacity. But if I train 20 people to talk like I talk and walk like I walk, I have an expanded bandwidth. And people around the same cause are powerful. Like groups of 20 are like elite, right? So like find your group, find your partner. And my partner in crime in my business is Santi Lozano, and if I didn't have him, my company wouldn't be worth anything, right? I need one more guy to like really make the triangle of checks and balances, right? And then we can grow. Like my goal is to sell for anywhere from 5 to 10 million, and that's going to happen in the next 2 years, right? And then I go on to the next venture.
Heck yeah.
But like dude, it's a long process, guys.
Of course. Anything worthwhile is going to take a long time, and you got to put, focus, dedication into that.
Yeah.
It's not just going to manifest itself. When you're talking about the Shopify, that's something anybody can do, right? But they gotta actually go out and do it.
Yeah.
You're going out there, you're actually doing these things, putting the pieces in place, so when it's checkmate, it's time to cash in.
It's not it. We only got so much time, right? But Work Clean. It's a book I recently finished. I can't remember the author right now, but it talks about the differentiation of like a McDonald's chef and a Michelin star chef, and like the execution level that motherfucker needs to be at to be a Michelin star chef compared to someone that calls himself a chef in like a restaurant around here.
Right.
It's astronomically different, and like how there's not that type of comparison in the rest of the business worlds. Like a lot of the business world, like lawyers have never been pushed that hard, so there's not that big of a differentiation, right? So paintball's only so big. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I realized early, got to get out of paintball and do the business stuff.
But applying that mindset into the paintball, that's a powerful thing.
It's a big one.
Right?
It's a risk, dude.
It is a risk because,
You know
like you said, when you're ballsy, you risk money. You got to be like, it's only money. Exactly what you say. It's only money. You're gonna, if you're a hustler, you're just gonna come back, you're gonna make more money, and you're gonna learn from the mistakes that you made in the past and hopefully make the right decision the next time. You know what I mean? But every single step is a trial. And sometimes you make errors, you take 2 steps back, but you gotta always keep walking forward, because if you don't, you end up not achieving the dream that you tried to set out,
Sports got money for sure. The sponsors are amazing, bro. This gear is revolutionary, right? You see this paintball, like I'm waiting for a zombie apocalypse, because if I can get metal paintballs for this thing, it's over, bro. It's over. The guns are incredible. This is this DLX, this Lux guns are sick. Huge shout out to Bunker Kings. Like they hook us up with jerseys. I'm actually gonna give you this jersey.
Okay,
you
awesome.
Can keep it
Thank
here,
you,
man.
Thank you.
Yeah, these are sick jerseys. They also make the hoppers. They make our masks. They make this pack over here. Everything you need for soft goods. It's like a one-stop shop of the best gear possible, dude. And then again, Powerhouse with the regs. You guys know they're the best. I already dropped that. But yeah, the gear's amazing. The gun's awesome. Honestly, the local places to get it, best places online.
Okay.
Just everything's online. You can find all this stuff directly from the distributors. What's the discount code?
MLK 15.
MLK 15% off anything on the Bunker King website, right? MLK 15. So if you guys need pads, you need jerseys, you want to buy a mask to get started,
I'll be
start
there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and just big shout out to like Tampa Bay Damage for their organization, what they're doing. Ryan Hosky at the Killers. That's another local organization working hard. Shenanigans. If you guys are in the Lakeland area, you guys can go out to Legacy Sports Park, and you guys can go check that out. And then a big thank you to Tiki's Paintball. This is the best field in Florida right now, hands down. For
Hands
recreational players.
To Tiki's.
It's about 10 minutes north of the barbershop here. Wish I knew the address, but yeah, best field out there, bar none, right? And then finally, GI Paintball, GI Sports is our paintballs, right? They're
Love
like
it.
the number one in the game, bro. You literally can't win without these paintballs. It's insane, right? Insane.
Five star.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. All right, man.
Thank you. Hold on. Thank you.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Like, I appreciate you doing this. Like, making content is super, super important. This is the last thing I'll add, but like, this, you talk about like business success and the development of it. This is the first outreach. Like, this is above and beyond. This is amazing production. This looks great. I know this is gonna blow up. Just keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
It might be
Thank you,
episode
thank you.
50, might be episode 100, but
Yeah,
just
yeah,
keep it,
yeah,
keep
on
it going, dude. And thank you for having us out here. Appreciate it. And
Yeah.
thank you for supporting paintball.
I appreciate y'all coming, man. This has been another episode of the Groomsmen podcast. Shout out to Gene. Thank you
Boom.
for coming. Thank you for Jackson
Of
coming.
course.
Kyle Berry. Hey, everybody. Good
Shout
night.
out.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, man. Peace.
Sir.